Hey guys, how's it going? My name is Brendan and welcome back to the channel. And today I want to explain how Bitcoin is getting ready to explode and give a price prediction for where it's going next. Now, when I say explode, I'm not talking about $100. I'm not even talking about $1,000. I'm talking about something a whole lot bigger than that, because as we zoom out from right over here, we can see that Bitcoin is testing its all-time highs of $19,800. Now, obviously, an all-time high for any kind of asset is very, very significant, especially for the likes of Bitcoin. Everybody knows that cryptocurrency is a very, very volatile market, and this 20K resistance is a very, very complicated one that people tend to have a lot of mixed emotions about. But today, I want to break this down, give some realistic input into this guy, and see where Bitcoin can realistically go towards both the up and the downside from here. So, buckle your seatbelts. This is going to be an absolute roller coaster, and there's going to be some pretty crazy numbers thrown in here towards both the up and the downside. So again, if any of that sounds interesting, make sure you guys stick around for the entire length of the video, as there will be important information discussed the entire way through. But with that being said, let's go ahead and dive on into this one. So, looking immediately at where we're at from here, I want to do a couple of things. And the first is talk about how much Bitcoin has been bought back up as we break this down onto a 4-hour time scale to look at this just a little bit closer over here. So when Bitcoin initially approached this resistance, it got awfully close. I mean, it got up to $19,500 and immediately started selling off, broke right through the 50 EMA, broke right through the heart line that we had been using here as resistance. And while the 50 EMA was being used to support, of course, broke right down through this, right to the 200 EMA, which is where it saw its next form of support. Now, this is extremely crucial because I was talking to some of the guys in the Discord today about this. If you guys aren't in the Discord, I'll leave a link to that in the description down below. Totally free, no strings attached or anything like that. But I was talking to some of the guys in the Discord today about this, because after Bitcoin was selling off, this resembles something that has already happened this year on Bitcoin. And what I mean by this is when Bitcoin sold off here, it had a 100% retrace in the matter of like days, which is not something that you're going to see in a dead cat bounce. If something is dead cat bouncing or it's continuing to the downside, it's not going to immediately rebound 100%. And if we draw a fib retracement up here, we're not going to see a 100% fib retracement bounce, not quite like this at least. And so what we can see is we've already passed that 100% fib retracement bounce, as we can view the top over here. And the last time that we saw something like this was all the way back towards the beginning of the year over here, when Bitcoin had this crazy sell-off. Now, if you guys have been watching my channel for any significant amount of time, you guys would know that I talked about this, because when Bitcoin sold off over here and it retraced the entire way back up within like a month's time, that is a sign that this is not only a dead cat bounce, but possibly even a reversal. Again, something is not going to retrace this fast and this volatile to a 100% point if it's just a dead cat bounce. It might be a 236 or a 382, a 50, a 618. Any of those fib retracements, I understand, but when something is rebounding this much and there is this much buying pressure, that is saying that the bulls are very comfortable buying in this opportunity. Even though we're just a couple $1,000s away from this all-time high up here, the bulls do not care. They are very, very comfortable. And you can see from the candle action over in here that this is a very, the bulls are very, very strong in this area. And obviously they bought the absolute mess out of this guy. They were not letting it sit any lower. And essentially what this means is that so many people are willing to buy Bitcoin at $16,000 and $15,000 that it can't even go any lower, because there are so many buy orders. There's such a high demand of Bitcoin at $16,000 that it has no need to go lower. It literally can't go lower because there are not enough people willing to sell down there, and there are plenty of people willing to buy at $16,000, which again is insane. And if you would have told me that a year ago, I would have probably said that you're crazy. But with Bitcoin going up over here and literally testing, and I want to go ahead and zoom out again, and literally testing these all-time highs. I mean, this is absolutely crazy how much we have touched this literally to a T. And in fact, I want to go ahead and draw this guy out over here, and we can see that almost perfectly to the dollar, Bitcoin has touched this all-time high on the Coinbase chart. And we're going to find out really, really soon what Bitcoin wants to do here. I'm looking at this on a 3-day chart right now, and I'm going to zoom out just a little bit so that we can view these side by side. But with Bitcoin being at this level, it kind of raises the question of where can Bitcoin go from here? And that's, again, one of the talking points that I wanted to make today. So with Bitcoin being at this level, I believe that if 20K breaks with volume, Bitcoin, again, there's going to be, in my opinion, such a large amount of FOMO that will flood into Bitcoin after it breaks 20K. You have all these videos talking about how Bitcoin is going to go to $1 million, $3 million, $500,000, $100,000. There is going to be such a large amount of FOMO because that's just the nature of cryptocurrency and especially Bitcoin. If this breaks, not only is there going to be a sense of FOMO, there is also going to be really no more resistance with the exception of psychological areas like 20K, 21K, 25K, areas like that where they are milestone marks of just, large numbers. That's where you're going to have your next major levels of resistance. So maybe it's 25K, 30K, 50K, stuff like that. So if I had to bet anywhere, again, if Bitcoin is breaking out of 20K with good volume and good momentum, I don't think that it could, or I think that it could very well hit $25,000. Now, some people are going to say that's way too much. Other people are going to say that that is not enough. This thing's easily on its way to $100,000, and it very well could be. But again, my immediate target here would be $250,000. That's going to be $25,000. And I think we're going to, see just a monumental amount of buying pressure come in if that's going to be the case. Possibly even get up to $30,000, $35,000 maybe before Bitcoin starts pulling back. Now, the second side of this argument is that while I believe that Bitcoin could very well break these all-time highs here, I want to talk about the resistance because obviously, we are at all-time highs, and it wouldn't be crazy for us to say that there might be some resistance here and that we might reject and have to retrace at least some bit. Now, it's kind of less likely now that we've already seen a $4,000 retrace bought up in less than a week. But it's still something that we might as well talk about. So if Bitcoin's going to retrace to anywhere, I would certainly hope that it holds 6K because that would ultimately make a higher swing low. And if we want to draw this guy out and just extend this just a little bit more, I kind of butchered this, but we're just going to leave it like that. I would really hope that it holds 16K. I would like to see it hold about 18K. I think if it held 18K after any kind of pullback from here, it'd be a very, very strong argument for Bitcoin. One could even argue that we are forming almost like an ascending triangle or squeezing and continuing to the upside. To the downside, I do want to talk about some of these targets, that's what I just talked about. But, 18K, if 18K breaks, I think we have 16K. Below 16K, I think that the next real support for Bitcoin is going to probably be around $14,000 to $13,000. And then all below that, you just have a ridiculous amount of support below there because everything at this point is behind Bitcoin. I would expect a lot of bounces. Well, a decent amount of bounces below $13,000. As we can see that, there really isn't too much support in between here and $14,000. But below $14,000, there's an absolute absurd amount of support from the last 3-4 years. So ultimately, guys, I want to sum up this video and kind of summarize these targets. To the upside, I think Bitcoin, my immediate target would be about $25,000. After that, it would be probably $31,000. I think that by that time, we will probably see some sort of pullback, even if that's a pullback and continuing to $40,000 or $50,000 afterwards. I think it's only a matter of time before we go parabolic, have a big pullback, and maybe continue going parabolic, or maybe that's using these breaking out, doing something like this, testing the all-time highs as support, and then continuing to the upside, because that's very, very possible. But maybe we'll theorize that a little bit more in the next video. So hopefully you guys did enjoy. Hopefully you guys did like this. If you guys did, hit that like button and comment something down below. Let me know your price targets for Bitcoin. I'm very interested in your guys' opinion and what you guys have to say. So I hope you guys did enjoy the video. If you guys really did, hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys next time.